we're not like, this is not the best way to look at it. If you're looking at this for the first time, maybe, watch it first, and because this is not a good way to watch a cinematic, right? Because we're going to stop and comment a lot about it, okay? Just a disclaimer. So let's see. All right, so let's analyze this.
The first frame. We've never had a WoW cinematic start this way. I mean,
I'm not. I was just joking, man. Let's move on.
We can unpack this. Like I can say a whole bunch of shit about this.
It's just a fucking spider. Relax.
Are you trapped in the spider's trap, man? Are we like,
Destiny, known only by true sacrifice.
This looks dope.
In our kingdom of Xal'atath, no one understood this sacrifice more than Queen Neferes.
Right. So we'll stop it here. Sure. I love this shot. And the fact is, did we have any previous rich lore regarding the I want to call them the Nerubians? Are they the Nerubians? I know we had Wrath of the Lich King with Anubarak stuff, and there was some lore there, but we've never this looks like their empire, and I feel this is a very neat way to introduce or reintroduce. I won't call it faction, but let's say another race.
This is really good. Obviously, this is not the full introduction. It's just the start of the introduction. And I was going to say eventually throughout the cinematic that out of all of the races and factions that they keep adding to the game that we're supposed to be caring about, like the Nightborn, for instance, and stuff like that, that a faction that always existed, we just didn't happen to ever hear about them. This is a good way of introducing them. First of all, the overarching shot of the entire army and the entire kingdoms, they exist now, but why haven't we seen them so far? And the cinematic will eventually tell you why.
All right.
My mother.
How does she sleep with so many eyes? Sorry.
I saw
this.
When the black
God.
This shit, when I saw this, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see from the Void. This is some badass looking, technically motherfucker right here, man.
Very heavy, very ominous.
This is what I want to see. This is this type of vibe. This looks menacing. This looks scary. And it's also very mysterious because it doesn't say much. It just has one eye looking at you, and the whole presence of it is so imposing. It's like, okay, he's clearly not powerful. We're gonna see in the first
lieutenant. I mean, maybe he is. I mean, this is one of those. I forget. Because that's probably well. As far as we know, watching this cinematic, this is one of the. I forgot what their names are. They're lieutenants of the old gods. That they're bosses like in Grim Batol, stuff like that. So we know they're pretty badass. But this probably paints how badass the queen is and how big her power is. But what's really cool, and I wanted to mention this, is that this is like a fully dressed dude. Like we don't have them with cloaks and super slick, super.
What gives it its presence, its silhouette?
It paints the Void into a more. Not necessarily classy picture, but it's something that
gives the appropriate intelligence they need to have. Because up until this point, we only saw them as big tentacly monsters, right?
Mindless beasts. Yeah.
If you read H.P. Lovecraft, which is the whole Void and All Gods being based on, you understand how deep their mind goes and how manipulative they is. When you see these creatures, when you see N'Zoth in BFA, you don't necessarily get the vibe that he's very cunning and manipulative. It looks like a squid. Exactly. You don't get. But this dude, right, has all of the proper elements to it to give you.
It's more humanized, right? You see more human elements, as in actual clothes that a human would wear.
Yeah. Flame sees his flaws in this guy.
Tentacles on the face.
Look at that.
He's so big.
My mother refused them.
This is cool.
This is what I was saying. He's not that powerful because I forgot her name. The mother.
Yeah, I forgot her name too.
Let's call it Marcella. Marcella just throws her little purpley webs on him, and you know what's gonna happen next.
But the cool part, no, it's pause at a shot with her face. Because it's really cool. I don't think I've ever seen this in a cinematic before. So this is oh my God, you're betraying us. I can't believe it. Here, she has a very somber look on her face. She's looking down. She feels like, I know this is gonna fuck us up.
She has the sadness in her.
Because she knows what she's doing. She knows the power that she's turning down and what it could mean for her people. Yet she knows that she has to protect her people with the little fingery thing, and she's doing it for the betterment of her nation. But I feel like she knows what's gonna come from her actions.
Yeah,
and she
and
cannot
the face
help but,
portrays that for sure.
Yeah.
The
And
emotion.
it's cool that they can do this with like a spider person thing, because
Listen, man. Listen, the spider has the advantage of having a million different eyes. Out of a million different eyes, you're gonna have at least two who can express some shit. Like people who are into like painting and drawings know, like the eyes make the whole shell. Like if you manage to do the eyes correctly, that's gonna transpose emotion. So Blizzard do eyes like no one else.
It's really good,
especially a million ones.
Wither with the waning of your
That's so cool.
Yeah. So this is what I was saying, that he didn't appear to be that powerful, or at least he wasn't as powerful as her, because the way he was wrapped in her like web lines and just crushed by those.
That's interesting, because I got the actual opposite opinion, because the faceless void, or whatever this guy is, obviously has been coming up in lore as a powerful void entity, and the fact that the queen can just like shatter him with a flick of her finger, that just make, oh my god, these guys are actually powerful. The Nerubians are actually strong, because we always kill them as nameless mobs and loot their corpses, right? When you want to build up a character and build up stakes and build up its power and make it feel like, because we're going against her daughter, right? In the raid, we know that, spoiler alert, the last boss of the raid is Queen Ansurek, which is her daughter. So I mean, I don't care. That's just another name, that's just another spider that I have to kill. But this paints a picture as like, oh my god, this is actually a thing.
I want to meet the father, and I want to know how did they procreate.
It's a matriarchal society.
How do they
procreate?
All right.
My son just wants to know about getting laid, man, on the eggs.
Shut up, moving along. Oh, this is the daughter, she was a kid.
Yeah.
And in that moment,
So essentially this happened 20,000 years ago.
destined for greatness.
Man, I used to be a kid back then.
But
Playing with the dick in the sand.
years that followed, our greatness was tarnished.
Okay, so now another like this she's old now in this one. This is like more of a present day sort of. But that other shot here, now this is where, because they can we say betrayed the void, or just stop communicating
They
with
rejected
them?
their offer.
Yeah, it seems that it affected the people in a way that everybody got weakened.
Yeah, maybe they had the connection to, obviously, they're talking about starvation and, poverty in general for their people. We don't know what that means.
It looks they're weakened, right?
Is it food or is it magic? What are they craving? Because we've seen poverty manifest in different ways in Warcraft. We know Blood Elves essentially lost their connection to magic, and that made them, go crazy, while the Nightborn became, withered.
The Legion story, man.
Yeah, that was good. So, we were kind of hoping that this might be something like that, but it's probably going to be a different thing. So it's interesting that, the Void, they rejected the Void's offer. That was like 20,000 years ago. But the Black Empire died, more than 10,000 years ago. So there's still a large part of their history was without the interaction or, even effects of the Void. So there's probably a reason as to, once again, spoiler alert, mute the stream for like 5 minutes. When you go into the expansion, and you go into Isle of Dorn, we don't know what happens to Dalaran, but we know Dalaran is kaput there, and that's because of the Nerubians. Now, why are they coming to the surface? What drove them there? Is it a search for something to alleviate their poverty, to alleviate their hunger or whatever? Maybe they search for magic, maybe they search for something else, right? So we're probably gonna find out exactly why.
In this cinematic.
That followed,
Why?
our greatness was tarnished. Look at them out there. Red.
See this again, look at their eyes. Look at the creature's eyes. See, when you do eyes correctly, you can transpose the exact emotion. You can see those are scared, sad, helpless, and shit. It's like little scared puppies, but they're like the hideous creatures. But because of how they work the eyes, again, like if you are into any form of art, always look at how the eyes are.
Yeah, for sure.
Because then you can like understand how good Blizzard artists are at doing this. These are hideous creatures,
spiders,
essentially, right? Look at them. But because they did the eye so well, you have like you want to pet. I was like, come here. Here.
It's gonna be okay. The spider here has some flies.
Some flies. Have some bugs.
Starving.
I am not immune to our people's suffering. I believe better days will come.
Not if you keep failing to seize the moment. What was the point of you freeing our future, only to leave us buried in the past?
You comprehend so little.
pause here. This is another good way to actually develop a proper cinematic with humane elements. We now see here the difference in generations. The old generations, like, you don't understand fully what it means. And you know, if you're an adult, if you have kids, you probably can relate to, like, you know, whenever your kids are saying like, oh, but I want to say, you don't know what you're talking about yet. So we can probably see this interaction between their generations. Obviously, this probably relates. A lot of people like to associate this cinematic with another part of Warcraft, and if you haven't seen it, we're not going to go into that yet. But it's not the case. It's just your average. You know, you're leaving your legacy to the next generation, but they don't know yet how that legacy is constructed, how that's maintained, and we see this here. So that was really cool that they added something that is more than just fireballs and people eating other stuff.
The dynamic between the young replaces the old. In the cinematic you're referring to is not as like detailed as in here.
No, this feels more real.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
More relatable, not human.
We're gonna get to that comparison as well. People probably know what we're talking about, but let's carry on.
Yeah.
There's much for you to learn before you can be queen.
Mother! Mother!
I love this.
Yeah, this is so cool. Just walking alone through the palace just gives the scope of how big the palace and empty it is.
See, this I found an interesting shot. For one second, I believed, or I hoped, that there was some sort of like light involvement. I know it's just a torch, but my paladin geek brain felt like, man, what is it a chance to have some sort of light influence here? But it's just a torch.
You know what's maybe not. You know what's interesting is that there's another motif that's going to come with the War Within, and that's the power of the lamp. Like the Arathi are lamplighters.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of lamp style mechanics.
I did not dare think of those because I don't want to get disappointed. I know all about.
Well, I don't know if that's why.
The League of Arath or whatever they're called. Like those are like the coolest things like ever inside this game. Like
if you're gonna make a different version of Paladin that's not just worshipping the lights, that would be the next
Scarlet Crusade type stuff. Sure, but this was like. Can we have the light also involved in this?
I actually don't remember what happens to the lamp, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be snuffed out.
Let's see what happens. Because she's looking at it. It's like... And then she...
Are you seeing this?
The light keeps going.
You have heard my voice in your dreams, great queen.
Right, so this shot right here, dude,
good, man.
This is like, this is proper horror movie elements brought into it.
We're the void. Monster, finally, we have horror and void in like a combination.
What they did here, this is the technique with, you know, the monster out of the wall. It's very present in a lot of movies. If you look at the Alien series, if you look at all of the Dracula series, like the monsters that crawl up the walls or get out of the walls or from mirrors or stuff like that. It's a classical horror element to be placed in.
It has a psychological element, a psychological attack, because the wall is supposed to be a barrier that protects you from something, but when something comes out of it, that destroys the concept that your brain has. Oh, this is not protecting me anymore. What I thought were walls and safety doesn't exist. So that's probably the psychological impact of this horror element.
Yeah, and who else to be coming out of the wall except Mrs. Xal'atath
Jesus,
over
that's so
here.
creepy, man. I love it.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, man. They're building Xal'atath now.
But that's what I mean, right? Now that we have actual proper pacing, this is good. This is a good villain. This is how you sell Xal'atath and not freaking
Just to close that whole bubble we discussed about. See, this Xal'atath here is not the one we've seen in Legion being trapped in the priest artifact weapon, and this is not the Xal'atath we've been working with in BFA. This is the build-up we're going to. I foretold we're going to have. To have a proper villain. Because up until this point, we did not have any build-up for it. Okay, just closing that bubble.
The Harbinger.
Yes, of the empire that was. But the old god.
Remember this guy?
Yeah. She says they're dead. We kind of speculated he's not, so that's an interesting take. Because they've kind of hinted
too much, yeah.
It's maybe it's reading too much into it, but the devs kind of didn't really want to bury the hatchet on N'Zoth. We had the quest line with Xal'atath, where we go back
That
in
was
time.
one of the coolest things we did in Dragonflight.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
relive the and all those wisdoms and stuff.
We go back in time where N'Zoth's like, you're coming back. Oh, so it kind of paints a narrative where, N'Zoth might not be dead, but Xal'atath says she's dead. So it's either she actually knows they're dead, or she's wrong about them being dead. So maybe there's something that Xal'atath, maybe she's not all-knowing. Maybe there's still something.
Listen, I do not think she's that powerful to be. I mean, maybe she's manipulative, but she's not as powerful as an old god. I don't think so.
That's what I thought, because a lot of people say that Xal'atath might be an old god, but I never really think so, because if they do that, then they would be retconning the build-up that we've had for Xal'atath. Because if you remember, if you remember the dialogue that she had in BFA with N'Zoth, she struck a bargain. She was clearly speaking to a superior hierarchy being.
Yeah, exactly.
That was N'Zoth. So she's clearly not at the same level, because then the dialogue would be different, as in, like a sibling type dialogue, not somebody that's, underneath you.
Maybe she got promoted by does the dementious, the
dementious? I don't.
That's the big
Big Daddy, the CEO.
The CEO. That's like Bobby Kane. All right.
The Empire lies.
I cannot look at this, man. Look at this. I want this in my game right now.
This is so cool.
This is what I want to fight. This is the
you know what
danger.
What I wanted to do, but we probably have to do this in an actual produced video. I want to put like elements of the cinematics side by side with other elements of past cinematics and try to like juxtapose the coolness from a hooded face with like a glinting eye underneath it to like Tuskar's fishing in a boat in the middle of the water.
Or the little what is the little people that dig in the dirt. The Nifim? What the fuck was that?
Big nose.
Yeah, that's it. Fuck it. Okay, let's move on. But this
shot is really cool.
In ashes, and a shadow has fallen on your kingdom.
All right, see, I don't really care for the art style they did on Xal'atath here. And this is a good shot. There's one shot. Let's carry on.
The blood of the
She's still looking good.
gods can make your people powerful again.
This reminds me of the Ajara Warbringer cinematic.
Oh, Ajara is definitely gonna.
I mean, she's
Where is she? Where is she, Flame?
I don't know.
She got poofed away. I think she's in cahoots with Zelda, but that's speculation.
With
It's
Xal'atath?
different.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All you have to do is take my hand.
Your words are tempting, but the cost is too great. I would never risk my kingdom for such power.
Okay. Pause.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I wanted to pause here as well.
Not for this one, but what
happened to the eyes?
I wanted.
What was with the eyes? She swiftly changed her eyes. It's like, whoop. You said no, whoop.
That's a good point. So what I wanted to talk about was the queen herself and how she talks and how she's like not necessarily not surprised at all about Xal'atath's offer and didn't hesitate whatsoever to reject her and say, what is her line? Your offer is tempting, but she's not like, oh, but no. She knew 100%. She knew exactly.
Because in her mind, she already had something like this, seemingly with something more powerful than just
that, or
because she really doesn't know much about Xal'atath, and it's just like, okay, you're from the void, obviously as well, but I already dealt with some of your kind.
We've been here before, and but even if this is like a different context where her people are actually suffering now, so it's not like 20,000 years ago where everybody was doing just fine.
Yeah.
So she would have more reasons to accept her offer now. But what's cool about it, and this is such a shame, that this is how you write a proper wise character. That you portray the wisdom through the voice, through the tone, through the dialogue, through the lines. I feel like whoever wrote this actually knew how to write a proper dialogue and a proper character's personality.
Must be some meds and magic going on over there for sure. But yeah, the changing of her eyes is definitely like, okay, this is Plan B mode right now.
Yeah.
So.
Mother, who are you talking to?
Ghosts, dearest. As always, they are my ready counsel.
I'm not sorry for what I said.
Always.
The thing is,
Yeah, say.
The dialogue that her daughter has, like, it's so ominous when it comes up behind her. They're alone there. You can kind of smell some ominous shit brewing beneath the surface. But what's really cool is that we, as the viewer, have the context of what it means to side with a faction for power. We know what that means as well.
In Warcraft.
Yeah, in Warcraft, of course. So the fact that the queen rejected her, like, yes.
Rejection of the gift.
But then the daughter comes and she's obviously gonna pick up the torch very soon. And then she's like, I still believe what I said. Like, fuck, these guys are doomed. Oh, this is not gonna go well.
Yeah, this is gonna be bad. I wanted to pause at this shed once again because I have a very geeky paladin mind, and I cannot not see the fact that the mother is sitting on the light side and the daughter is sitting in the darkness. I think this is a metaphor of not necessarily the void versus the light.
She's closer to the light, closer to enlightenment.
Exactly. So it's like, well, a metaphor for, okay, the daughter has slipped into the darkness, and the mother retains the last remaining flicker of light, whatever that means. Hopefully, we're gonna have some light situation happening in the War Within as well.
Definitely gonna happen.
But let's carry on.
They are my ready counsel.
I'm not sorry.
See, she
for
just
what
chill
I
in the
said.
darkness.
Yeah.
I only want
now
our
stepping in the-
people to be great once more.
Greatness is fleeting. What we must do now is endure. Your time will come, child, but only.
See, this look, again, look at the eyes.
Yeah.
This is like I'm already set up, bitch. This is go time. I'm pissed, I'm angry, and I know I want every inch of power I can get my hands on.
Whenever you have the old versus the young, and you tell the young you have to be patient, we know young people don't have patience. We know, because
I don't have patience.
yeah. So whenever my folks were like telling me, just wait until you grow up, wait until you get to our age, that kind of stuff. Like we've all heard that from our parents, right? And that's kind of what the queen is telling her daughters. Like, we need to endure. Whenever somebody's suffering, it's like you need to just hold on a little bit more. The young people don't have that patience, and you know the tension is building right there.
Well, the thing is, like, they're talking about a lot, like when they say we need to endure, it's mostly in terms of like our people need to endure, because the people, their empire is suffering. So everybody's like sad, weakened, and whatever. It's different because traditionally the people in charge, the royal families, the leaders, or whatever, they don't really endure
Maybe,
much.
but see, this is another difference in attitudes that both of these characters have, where the queen actually empathizes with her people suffering. Because when she talks, she says, I'm not oblivious to our people suffering, or whatever she did. When the daughter speaks, like, I want our people to be great, she doesn't want her people to be great, she wants greatness. That's like, it's tangent to her people being great as well. So clearly the daughter's like, I want power. The mother's like, I want, longevity or survival or stuff like that. So
no power, we want power, but not at any cost, is what I'm saying. So not necessarily big compromises.
Yeah.
When you are
All right, so there's a knife.
Yeah.
The knife was
inside
used,
the mother.
and there's a daughter right at the back of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to address this now, the comparison? or-
Yeah, obviously a lot of people in the comments of the cinematic, and I bet a bunch of you thought about the same thing, is that, oh my god, they're redoing the Arthas story again, where Arthas kills his dad in Warcraft 3. They're like, the dad is surprised to take over the crown and to take over the Dominion. But this is sure, but that's not like a unique Arthas or Warcraft 3 thing. That happens
there's a lot of like legends and myths, and it's a lot of like Victorian history as well. This is something that is written a million times. It's a motif, okay?
Yeah, it's definitely a motif, and it's definitely a very, not exaggerated one, but it's an extreme one, because we have this in our lives, right? We eventually we take the mantle from our parents or from our previous generation somehow. We don't hopefully do it this way, but we take it in a more indirect or abstract way, where we become the head of the family eventually, right? So that's what happens here. This just happens to be very violent and unfortunate.
Well, I wouldn't call it unfortunate, because listen, however you may dislike this or think this was Arthasized, this was needed in the goddamn World of Warcraft universe.
But this is also better because I guess we can say that Ansarek is kind of manipulated by Xal'atath, but we could probably say that everybody's manipulated by something, by a thought, by an ideology, by a
Void
principle.
does that to you.
Yeah.
This is the way of the.
But I feel like this is different than Arthas. Arthas took the sword and Ner'zhul essentially entered his mind, right?
Arthas was manipulated by the jailer, bro.
Oh my
Everything
God,
was planned by
stop
the
it.
jailer.
Fuck it, dude.
It was the jailer grand plan.
But the reason I say this is that this feels a little bit more relatable because it feels more like the characters are a little bit more real and not just more fantasy, despite the fact that they're actually spiders, right? It feels like the daughter really, even before Xal'atath came about, the daughter really wanted her way to be done and not her mother's way. Xal'atath just pushed her a little bit, but she was always gonna be that way. And she took over from her mother that way. It's not like, oh my God, she got corrupted. She was such a good soul, but she got corrupted, unfortunately, and she did a shitty thing. It's not that, and I'm so tired of that, and I'm glad that they're not doing that again.
It's another positive to it, and once again, I'm underlining this. It was needed. I wanted something like this to happen in the Warcraft story for quite some time. I cannot remember any legacy cinematic style that had this amount of visceralness into it, right? This is something that was missing. It's hard, it's
This
brutal.
is the emotional impact that we want in our stories,
even,
not oh
yeah,
my God,
even
I'm
if
so
they
sad.
have to use the same motif again with, you know, the killing of the parent or whatever, it's done, as Flame mentioned, in a good way, and I don't find it like, okay, they had to pull the Arthas. No, this is something that will have even more implications as we go further into the expansion. So I think this is like the moment personally I've been waiting for, a moment like this where something really terrible is happening, threatening, emotional.
We actually, I mean, I don't know how you guys felt, but I really felt sorry because I really liked the Queen, because we don't have these characters in WoW anymore.
So you didn't even know she existed up until this cinematic,
Yeah,
right?
that's
And
how you build a character,
you have
man.
3 minutes, 4 minutes of a character,
such
and
a
you're
good-
already attached to it.
So good storytelling, so
In 5 minutes,
good,
right.
so how you show it, and you actually feel like, because we don't have these characters in WoW anymore.
We didn't have
And
dragons, like-
where's the old and wise anymore? We don't have the old and wise anymore. Like, who are we supposed to learn from? We're always we always know better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You done?
You're not the only one seeing ghosts, Mother.
How sad to have a queen.
See, this, a lot of people like meme this as well. Look at both of their faces. So you can see on the what's her name? The spider?
Ansarek?
Ansarek. Okay. So her face right now doesn't look necessarily that evil.
She's angry and sad.
Yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, but look at Xal'atath. Xal'atath embodies right now the madness,
They're
evil.
polar opposites
I
of
did it.
Yeah, but that's what I want to see. The Void is supposed to be about insanity.
Exactly.
So the crazy eyes and big smiles and
This is again another very great motif, and they tried that madness, evil madness with Farrakh, but as much as I loved him, they didn't really pull it off. They didn't like it. That was like a small moment where you felt he was
And he was
demented.
such a one, like compared to these guys, he was such a one.
Oh, yeah,
and
because there was no time.
I don't want to talk about Farrakh and Xal'atath at the end of this, like how you actually build a crazy villain, but not crazy. We use crazy very loosely,
No,
right?
but it looks. The look is very demented, evil, and satisfying. Oh, I made it, right?
So wise, and yet so ignorant.
See this face from Xal'atath here. You remember that meme with that chick that was overly obsessed girlfriend?
With the big eyes.
Yeah,
and
that's
looking into
her.
yourself.
And I think the Reddit is full of this. Because, I don't know, so as much as everything was like quite on point with this, the face they did on Xal'atath on some of these shots,
It's creepy. That's what. And
but creepy in a meme way. I want creepy, like creepy.
oh, so it's not okay. I see what you mean.
Because yeah, there's that weird smile and those eyes. It just looks like overly obsessed girlfriend.
That's interesting because what I took from these shots is how she actually moves.
Oh, the movements.
Like the physicality of her appearance in the cinematic just makes it feel like she is an outer-worldly being. She's not a physical manifestation. She's like void. She's shadow. She doesn't move in a natural way. You don't see the bobbiness of the body whenever you move when you take a step, right? When you talk, she just floats.
To the call of destiny.
Her name is Xal'atath. You had your chance, Mother.
And now it's her in the
Yeah,
present day.
very different face. It reminds us the transformation of the Night Elves into Naga by
Yeah.
N'Zoth, where they took a different
Appearance.
I think somebody in the comments said something funny. It's interesting how associating with the void can make someone handsome.
Well, it's part of the perks.
They made them more humanoid, right? You can see the Nerubians behind her. They look very
different.
humanoid. Yeah.
They look different. So the transformation has occurred because she accepted the gift of the void, and we'll have to unravel that in the raid, basically.
Yeah.
So there's another money shot.
This is so good, and wait for it.
We will conquer. And together, we will finally claim our destiny.
Long live Queen.
It's so sarcastic. Just pause this here. Okay. So her whole speech of we're finally claiming this is something that we always hear before. That's like so
All the
watered
time.
down. It's like it doesn't really matter. But there's a reason why that was there. Because obviously Ansarek is living with the delusion that it's all gonna go according to her plan and she's gonna get and Xal'atath coming from behind is long live the queen. It's like clearly, oh, you're not gonna get what you think you're gonna get. Oh, you're such a this is how you do this is what well, you know, as much as I don't particularly want to bring him back, but this is what Afrasiabi probably wanted to do with Sylvanas when he said at BlizzCon, you guys don't know what she's actually planning about, as hinting that Sylvanas is this larger-than-life intellect that's manipulating everybody. This is how you do a larger-than-life intellect that's manipulating everybody, being sarcastic, completely detaching the spotlight from yourself to put it on somebody else, in this case, Ansarek, and then just sitting in the background like, yeah, you go for your dumb, you're gonna be so good.
Yeah, well, first of all, fuck Afrasiabi. And second, looking again at Xal'atath's face in here, way better than what was going on up until this point. But the look, dude, this is like, for me, this is like the proper 100%, I have everything in place right now, you are all fucked moment.
Yeah, exactly.
This is, because it's like, again, another motif, because again, if you guys like know about these things, this is like the Puppet Master motif here, and it's shown off beautifully.
The way the way they use the colors to blend Xal'atath into the background, like she's not actually a part of the physical realm that all of these characters inhibit, and that she's just behind. It's definitely the Puppet Master, like you said.
Yeah.
Fuck, this is the money shot.
Well, we had a bunch of money shots in the cinematic, but this one for sure like took everything away.
This is how you sell characters. This is ironically maybe this should have been on the cover of the game.